Alright, good afternoon everyone, and welcome back to another episode of SkyBlock. And if you remember last time, in the last episode, I said I was feeling a little bit under the weather on Friday's upload, and man, that was an understatement. Man, that was a little bit of an understatement to what actually happened. So, for the weekends, my plan is, because I'm trying to get into this little bit of a YouTube schedule and everything, but my plan was to, for the weekends, do a lot of pre-recording and do the recording right and everything. Well, it's kind of Saturday night, 11 o'clock here, and I just finally felt well enough that I could, get back on the grind here. So we lost a lot of time by not being able to do anything Friday, because I quite honestly slept for 12 hours while watching YouTube videos for 2 of those hours. So the remedy was just sleeping for 22 hours, but we lost a lot of time. So we're going to have to try to make it up through these next 2 days because, well, if you watch the vlog that actually came out over the weekend, you'll know that I may not have some daily uploads for next week. In any case, the mob farm has been working pretty well. You can see that I've been just kind of collecting stuff. Also, I've been on a little bit of the cobblestone grind here. Just a pretty decent amount. Watermelon is growing quite well. So one of the first things, let's get to it, is we want to make a bed, because there's plenty of nights that I've gone without being able to sleep. And we could finally rest and have a bed. Yeah. So today, let's try to focus on getting because if you remember, there still is a hole in the mob farm, so we're going to try to actually get that fixed up. So here, how should we go about this? All right, we have the 24 ladders. Everyone in the comments, you can say what you want, what I'm about to do, but I'm going to put it on peaceful because it's basically just wasting time trying to get up there and then die a few times, or just it's an unnecessary hassle that I just don't feel like dealing with. So let's just put it on peaceful, say what you want in the comments, but we're going to play this safe and just do it on peaceful mode. So yeah, in any case, we're also, in addition to, wow, I've already filled up the chest, to fixing the mob farm, we're going to, give it a proper building, a structure of the sorts. Yep, just as remember, there is still a hole up here, so let's just remove this last little bit of snow here, and then we'll top it off. Actually, Friday's episode, where I said it would have to be a fairly short episode, it actually kind of turned out to be a decently long episode. Half an hour, that is. So, yeah. Towards the end of it, though, we sadly didn't have all that many time lapses, so sorry about that. But I was just trying to get things done. All right, so after we got that little roof there, what we need to do now is we need to turn up our brightness like that, and we're going to, as I said, we need to build a tube down. So, for example, when skeletons and well, really anything, but mainly skeletons are falling down, they can't shoot us or try to attack us while trying to, collect our things and trying to walk over on the very, very sketchy little bridge we had going there. Another problem that I have noticed is that not most of the time, but not all the time, and I'm not exactly sure why this happens, because the ladder isn't normally there, but for some reason mobs actually survive the fall down. Barely, but they do, so we're gonna just... This is probably too much, but I'm going to actually build it down 10 blocks, so we need to do more sketchy water scaffolding, and then we will start the room, little nice mob farm room collection bin area type thing. We'll start it right there, and yeah. Alright, just finish it up here. Nice, I got the right amount of stacks of cobblestone to finish up this tube. Now, if I was in, a single-player world, or, well, really any world that actually allowed me to have as many resources as I needed, I would probably build this tube out of glass, because then we can actually see all the mobs falling there to their demise. But in this situation, that is not the case. Boom, cool. So I was exactly right on that cobblestone. It was enough to bring down the tube, and I actually want this 2-block gap so we could actually take a peek in for now. So let's get the water scaffolding going, I guess. Alright, so in preparation to take this down another 10 blocks, let's just start removing the torches and everything. If you're wondering why there's kind of this pathway that's going around it, is because I was kind of for desperate measures last episode, because I was dying quite a bit, and I wasn't changing it to peaceful mode. Because that truly was, like, a time when it's, like, makes for good content, and it's also, like, I got myself into that, and so it's not, like, just, it's a burden, and it's not something that I could just kind of fix and stuff like that, so that's why there's this pathway here, because I was just paranoid about the skeletons shooting me off, and it's, I cannot lose this, and yeah. And one of the main reasons why I was kind of paranoid was because I was trying to get this episode out to you guys, and kind of couldn't do that if they kept shooting me off. So, it's kind of the deal with that. But, we'll just finish removing out this cobblestone here. It's just a small loss of a little bit of cobblestone. Not too big of a deal, but, you know, trying to save every little bit, because every little bit counts. Also, it's going to be a little bit interesting to build for this. Well, building for this and for SkyBlock. Two things I have to say. One is going to be interesting for building with SkyBlock, simply because we cannot exactly use the traditional sense of windows with, like, glass and stuff. And it's also hard to build in SkyBlock, or, well, with a mob farm, because it's going to have to be an even number because of the tube is too wide, and yeah. So I guess here we go. Let's start taking the water scaffolding and the tube down. Let's get some time lapses in here, because I know you guys like them a lot. So here we go. Alright, so that was a little bit more difficult than I thought, and I kind of cut the time lapse there because that would just be too long. It actually took a little bit longer than I expected to get just 10 blocks down with these stairs. But then again, I was doing stairs on each side, so I guess it's kind of my fault, but oh well, what can you do? So now what I'm doing is I'm just expanding this so it could be 14. I'm just going to make a large pad that is going to be 14 by 14. As you can see, I lost the bucket, so... Or, I didn't lose it, I just put it in the chest, so... Don't have to worry about that, so, you know, yeah. And 14, cool. So, I believe that's 14, hopefully I'm counting correctly. So, it's going to be about that wide. Or, it's going to be a perfect square, but it's going to be about that big. So... Actually, is that going to work? I don't like how close this is. I wanted this more in the back. I think I can make it work, though. Alright, so in the meantime of waiting for some stone to cook up so we could begin this this nice little build here, let's make some fences, because I do want this to be a fairly protected area, or well, safe area, as safe as it can be with mobs. So what I was thinking I'm going to do is, it is okay that it's in the middle after all, but what if I made it so that the mobs would fall on some trapdoors, and then I would open up the trapdoors and then get the loot from that. Now, my only concern is if the trapdoors would kind of like retain and keep back some of the items. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to work out that part of it, but I still think it could be a potential idea and a pretty cool idea. Depending on how large I can make this, if I could make it a 2-story, technically I could just put some doors on like the inner side of this, and then if items do get caught up there, then we could just kind of open it up, grab it from the hatch, and do that. So that's my plan. We're going to build this mainly out of oak wood. So raw oak wood planks, and then we're going to get fancy with this. So we're actually going to do some stone bricks. So we're going to try that out and see where that gets us. But, gotta wait for that to finish cooking up. Man, I almost dropped off the edge. Alright, so here's just the basic kind of outlining of it. I didn't have enough stone to complete this because I forgot to add more coal to the furnace. It's kind of a little bit of an embarrassing mistake, but either way, we'll get it done. So, windows, definitely going to be a complication here. I'm not sure if I'll just leave them open, or should I add, like, I don't know, something like a fence, because we could kind of still see through that if we just have fences for windows. But the one main thing is kind of more important than fences in this entire equation, or this building, however you want to put it. We need chests, because we need chests for storage of the mob drops and such. So I think if we just run them up the side there, as you can see, my cobblestone funds have pretty much been depleted here, so you're gonna have to figure out something to do with that. But I think each chest will correspond to an item here. And the ones by the door are just going to be, like, the standard kind of, like... Well, these are going to be, like, if I need to grab something quick, I could go to these, but then maybe if there happens to be, like, a second story or so, I could go up there and have, like, bulk storage up there in case I need bulk storage of something or another. I would say bulk storage for TNT, but I kind of can't do that, seeing as can't really use all that much sand for random projects. So, yeah. I think, although, right now, the main thing that I'm going to try out here is we're going to change this from, well, peaceful to hard once again. So things may get a little bit interesting. Although, if they survive the fall now, I'm not sure what to tell you, because it's quite a bit further down than it was before. Although, our rates should also be picking up since there is no longer that hole in the ceiling. So that should be interesting. I don't really have a way of containing the drops, though. Well, actually, when I add the trapdoors, I suppose I will. Anyway, let's get back to grinding away for some stone and stuff. Alright, so building is going fairly well here. The only problem with this mob farm is I'm pretty sure it's just because they're tracking me, but the only thing that now actually survives the fall is spiders. So otherwise, before, pretty much anything had the chance of surviving the fall. Now, at least it's just spiders, and that's all we have to worry about. And most of the time they do just die, but every once in a while they do just make it as you saw there. Actually, you know what? Let's just build it straight across here. So I think what we can actually do is I think we can build a second story to this building here. So I'm gonna do that right now. There we are. And I never claimed to be the best builder in the world, so please excuse if it doesn't look all that great. So yeah. So how should... Nah, I did not want that. How should we go about getting up to the second floor? I don't want to do just ladders, because that's kind of lame. I don't exactly want to do what I'm doing in NSG with, like, splitting off or two combining into one, because that's just extra spaces that we don't exactly need to take up, or that we don't even have, so... Let me figure something out real fast. Alright, so pretty cool. So I got all of the stone that I needed, so we could finally finish, at least I think it's all the stone I need. So I could finish off this roof here, and then that's going to block everything. Cool story, bro. But, rates are not as good as I want to have them. Actually, I'm not exactly sure even how high I want the rates to even be, because I don't exactly know how much... Man, I hate these guys. I don't exactly know how high that I would even want these rates, or even need these rates to be, simply because a lot of the stuff I won't have much use for. So, for example, gunpowder, you know, you would typically grind away gunpowder for, like, TNT and stuff, but my equation, I really can't do that. So I guess the two main things are going to be arrows and bones. Also, the witches, if I could just have them, like, kind of as a category of their own, that would actually be kind of helpful. Although, obviously, I know I can't unless I had, like, a witch spawning chunk. It's like a swamp. How did you survive? I really rather... Oh, okay, because that's the same level as... I'm the best shot ever. Alright, gonna bop you off that... You are in very good condition there. You should not be in that good of condition. Anyway, so let's just grab everything that's kind of up here real fast. Find it funny how everything up here is just creeper stuff. But we're just going to finish up that. And more slabs. Man, we're just about out of cobblestone here. Just about out of cobblestone entirely, too. So, gonna have to grind away before next episode, but nearing the end of this episode, so I think we'll be pretty well set. Oh, but as I was saying, with the witches, what we can actually do with them is something pretty cool. If you remember how I said there's no way to get redstone, there's a chance of them dropping redstone, so it'll be very, very hard, and it'll take or not very hard, but it'll take a long time to actually get to this point, but we could actually kind of build with redstone once we get enough drops from witches and stuff. But, yeah, we're gonna have to, it's going to be definitely a long time from now, and it'll be definitely a bit of a grind before we could get to that point. But it's still a goal to shoot for, I guess, so it's pretty cool. Alright. And that's not the string chest. Alright, cool. So, that's the house. Or, not really a house, but the mob area type thing. It's kind of complete, minus windows and stuff. I do want to figure out something for this, so it's not just as bland as it is right now. But that's going to be for another time, another video. But last episode, we kind of left it kind of, a little bit raw. Not everything was kind of finalized because I was a little bit pressed for time. I would have made it a little bit more refined and everything. But this episode is definitely worth taking an entire episode to build a nice little house. Finish up there and finishing off the tube. Next episode, I'm going to actually get a proper list of challenges, and then we're going to start running down some challenges and actually have kind of a little bit more of a direction for the episode, because this episode, I was just a little bit kind of fishing for ideas, being completely blatantly inobservant of the challenge list and everything, but I was just trying to think of, I know I have a few things I could do, is just figure out what is the best way for this to progress nicely, and I figured a nice little house would be a good addition. But in any case, guys, hopefully you have enjoyed this episode of SkyBlock. We're already up to episode 4, and this is only the second week of recording, which is I mean, for some people, not a very big step, but last week was the first week of actual daily uploads, so pretty cool, if I do say so myself. If my plans are going properly, this week is going to be a little bit different than last week. Instead of doing the 3 episodes of SkyBlock and 2 episodes of NSG, I'm going to try something else. Maybe some Minecraft minigames or something. Just because of some time restraints and stuff that I've talked about in the vlog that you have hopefully already watched that was uploaded over the weekend and stuff. So, yeah. Hopefully you have enjoyed this episode of SkyBlock. There's going to be plenty more of SkyBlock to come. You know, if I can remember every episode, I'll just try to come out to this island and kind of reminisce and kind of look back on what we've done. So, this is what we've gotten done, the progress throughout this episode. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed. It's about the 5th time I've said that. But let's just wrap it up here. If you like the episode, make sure you take a half a second and leave it a rating. If you have any comments for any topics or anything like that, or anything of that nature, you could leave that in the description below. If you want more crazy SkyBlock stuff that wasn't very crazy this episode, subscribe for more. And yeah, I'm going to need to, not upload, I'm going to need to light up. There you go. I had up. Light up that area a little bit, because, see, we got some spawns, but that'll be for another time. Well, I will catch you in the next episode.